So very good evening to everyone and welcome to this webinar on behalf of UNDP and HHH team. My name is Megha, career coach from Raicho, and I'm the moderator of today's webinar. And this webinar is hosted by UNDP Project Code Unnati and High Foundation in partnership with SAP Labs. And HHH is implementing the Project Code Unnati, which empowers youth for future employability skills and entrepreneurship through a multi-year partnership project between UNDP and UNV, supported by SAP India. The project aims to improve access to entrepreneurship and employment opportunities for young people, and especially girls, while also empowering them to make informed decisions. The project activities are implemented across 3 districts in the state of Karnataka with Bangalore Rural, Dakshina Kannada, and Raichur. Through the project, High will provide career guidance and counseling to 12,000 youth from 50 government academic institutions, including pre-university, university, ITI, and polytechnic, over a period of 1 year. So youth will also be linked to various scholarships and schemes to apprenticeships and jobs in local sectors. For this purpose, we are planning online sessions through corporate in Karnataka, local employers, industry associations, and successful entrepreneurs who can effectively guide the youth for what skills and courses to look for, and what are the current job opportunities and how should they plan their career in a specific sector. So as you all know, the agenda of this particular webinar is scheduled to provide the requisite information about client services as a key employability skills. So now I would like to introduce you to Mr. Srinivas Naidu, a client servicing expert in multi-industries. So welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
So his work as a client servicing professional across projects in India and the Middle East has been based on the needs of the client, and his strength, according to internal stakeholders, is in simplifying the structures of tasks, ensuring that clients can see how the products or services are deployed to provide productivity. So as a client relations professional, he focuses on getting the mapping right, works closely with the team to ensure they exploit the powers of constant to handhold the implementation team is all aspects to errors are always foreseen and accounted for. He goes to great lengths to be in sync with stakeholders through the project with a focus on what the business needs. His work experience beginning with the early years as a mechanic and then in deep sales with Eureka Forbes, software and IT, followed by a deep dive into events across sectors, gave him the immersion into the psychology of everyday actions of clients and their stakeholders. So his 2 decades long experience in the education industry, corporate events, and commercial design space across India and Middle East, along with the continued learnings in the current role at MNC Entertainment Company, has aligned him to be adept at understanding and being a practitioner of simple and effective client servicing. So this is all about Mr. Srinivas Naidu. We welcome you again, sir.
Thank you, Megha.
So we hope our students will get a lot of information about client servicing.
Yes, I'll try my best to give them as much as a brief understanding about the how to get into this industry and what are the benefits out of it.
Yes, sir. So without wasting time, we'll jump into the questions.
Yeah.
So what is client servicing a very important employability skill, sir? Why is client servicing a very important skills?
Megha, ಇವಾಗ ನಮ್ದು ಈಗ ಕ್ಲೈಂಟ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸಿಂಗ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ರೋಲ್, ಬಟ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಸಿ ಅದರದ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ವೈಡ್ ಆಗಿ ವೇರಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಎನಿ ಕಂಪನಿ ಎನಿ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಇರಲಿ, ಕ್ಲೈಂಟ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಅನ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ರೋಲ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಕ್ಲೈಂಟ್, ಆ ಕ್ಲೈಂಟ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ನಮ್ದು ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಅವಾಗ a client is in what is required by the client and what is the end result is looking at from our end. So we as a client servicing, what we do is like we understand the client's requirement, we map it, our requirement ಏನಿದೆ, our end user ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಅದನ್ನ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಪ್ರೊಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು our end user customers ಗೆ, that becomes our role in this. In fact, we design the whole package for them. Like for example, if you're talking about a digital market as which is now very much booming into the market, digital marketing, digital media. So here the understanding of a client servicing person is to know what is the customer looking for, to give it to his customers. ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅದನ್ನ we have to make a pilot kind of a small kind of a design or project or a concept for him to understand this is what we get to you. So once the client understands that what we're giving him, then we take it to the core production team and the designing team to give the end results, to map it fully and how it looks and how it is going to be presented into the market. So this way, like we play as a client servicing, we play the key role in the market is like we bring results to a need of the customer. So to understand that need, it becomes very important is to know the market, the customers, the end users, what is their behavior going to be towards the product. So all these things are some few of the things which is very important to know for a client servicing person. So basically, and moreover, any industry or any segment you go, private sector, banking sector, or any corporate sector, there is a service required. End of the day, like whenever there's a sale done, after the sale is done, the customer service is required. So we, as a customer, this client servicing, we have to understand thoroughly. Like when the client is walking in, like we should give him such a service that he doesn't step out again, because it's a very competitive world.
Yes.
So your service from the company, what you're providing has to be proper and to the core and to the point. We should not waste his time also, because today the world is moving very fast. So without wasting much of his time, we should be prompt in giving the service to him and to the point, and being very brief in our services. That is what plays a key role now.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for sharing the importance of client servicing as a key role. And is client servicing is specific to an industry or useful across the industries you have worked in?
Sorry, I didn't get you. The voice got cut.
So is it specific to an industry or useful across the industries you have worked in?
Specific to industry antilla mega ivaga now yavdu industry yavdu company ello serkondru, be a small scale industry or a large scale industry, a small company or a multinational company, ello hodrunu the service is there, either in the form of business services or anything. Like the client servicing plays a major role, because it only not the service in the different industries doesn't only stick to like one particular industry and like the service. Where there is a sale, there is a service. Where there is work happening, there is service. So service plays a major role in every aspect of our life, and every aspect in the every different segments of the industry. So we cannot say like, okay, client servicing is only for banking people, it is only for, say, for marketing people or sales people. No, client servicing is there in every industry and every department. Like today, if you walk in into, say, now we have come through this pandemic. So simple example, we say like once we walk into a hospital to do a testing, like you have one person who is there to attend you and give you services. So that also is like a client service.
Yes.
He might be a receptionist, he might be a doctor, he might be a nurse. Or if you go to walk into a retail, like when you go to any shop, any shopping mall, like the minute you walk into a shop, there is one person in the yaar band keltare, sir, how can I help you, madam, how can I help you, what are you looking like, ಏನಾದ್ರು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡಬಹುದಾ, ಏನಾದ್ರು ತೋರಿಸಬಹುದಾ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ. So that also is like a service only. So it's only thing you choose yourself where you want to fit into it. Like you have to first of all understand what you're good into it. So ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, when you know like your qualities, okay, client servicing, I am good at servicing people in the retail industry or in the shopping malls, I am very good at helping people. Or you have a very good eye for interiors. Designing and ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, I can sell my design, I can convince a customer why they should have this kind of furniture, why they should have this kind of cabinets or wardrobes, or why they should have this, the color combinations irಬಹುದು. So this also is again like a service only. So any need anybody comes up with, it's a service basically. Where there's a need, there's a service involved.
Service.
So it's like we package it and we call it client servicing. I am from sector. I'm a client service account man. Like we say, we have account manager. Account manager is nothing but is doing the servicing part only. So servicing will play a major role in any place you walk in. There is service involved. So it's the only thing we have to understand what we are good at. Now, in best, means like I'm saying, how best you can express yourself in the form of service. We have to choose that particular industry. So there is no specific qualification as such, but yes, degree is very important. We have to be graduated because the graduation helps you in understanding the core other the theoretical part of it and the other activities about market scenarios, about the what is the market going to happen, what is the customer behavior, everything you learn into your graduation. And there you pick up your qualities. Okay, for example, if somebody is doing BCom, BA or BSc anything, so science, commerce, really economics, really. So if I say like, okay, I'm good at calculations, mathematics, then I get into a banking sector where I work as a servicing, where I help people with their investments. So that also is a part of service itself. So service industries across service, yes. Tell me.
ಎಸ್ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಯಾವ ತರ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ. ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕಡೆನೂ ಸರ್ವಿಸಿಂಗ್ ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ. ಅಂಡ್ ಗ್ರಾಜುಯೇಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಳಕ್ಕೆ.
ಗ್ರಾಜುಯೇಷನ್ ವಿಲ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಯು ಟು ಗ್ರೋ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಜಾಬ್ ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ. ಈಗ ತುಂಬಾ ಜನ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಇವಾಗ, ಅವರು ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಇಲ್ದೇನು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಅಪ್ ಅ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಕಿರಾನಾ ಶಾಪ್ or they might have set up anything, but it is again part of service they're doing. But if you are in a job, looking for a job and you want to get into some kind of a job and think, yes, degree is important because that will help you to grow in the company in your designation wise. It will help you better packages for you. Otherwise you have to join as every time you go for a job, then you have to join as a fresher, as a trainee. So the growth rate for you, the graph will be very slow. You might be excellent in your servicing, but because you lack in the graduation, you don't have a proper degree with you, then your graph growth will go very slow. The inclination will be the growth rate will be very slow and you get frustrated. Then you say like, okay, ನಾನು ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ, ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ, ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ಸ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ಸ್ ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಮತ್ತೆ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ನಮ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಸಲುವಾಗಿ, ಬಟ್ ನನಗೆ ಕಂಪ್ನಿಲಿ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಗ್ರೋತ್ HR ಪಾಲಿಸೀಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಕಂಪ್ನಿ ಪಾಲಿಸೀಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಹೂ ಇಸ್ ಎಫಿಷಿಯಂಟ್ ಇನಫ್, he cannot be given a promotion because he is not having that particular degree with him. So anything for any work, anything you do to get a job, to be in a job, to grow in a job, is important is you have to be graduated. That plays an important role as a part of one of the basics required for the job.
Thank you, sir, for sharing the basic requirements to do well in client servicing. And to do well in client servicing, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ ತರ ನಾಲೆಜ್, ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಅಥವಾ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ in any industries?
ಇವಾಗ ನಾನು ಮುಂಚೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ, ಇವಾಗ ನಾವು ಏನಾರೇ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ನಮ್ದು as we are learning, as we are graduating ourselves or as we are working, ನಮ್ಗೆ ನಮ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟೀಸ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಅವಾಗ. ಇವಾಗ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಈಗ ಇವೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜರ್ ಆಗಿ ಕ್ಲೈಂಟ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ, ಇವೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಲೈಂಟ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. So I was only doing like servicing, only coordinating with the clients and like contractors. ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇವೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಇವಾಗ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್, ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಡ್ರಾಪ್, ಪ್ರಾಪ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಕೋಆರ್ಡಿನೇಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ನನ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು, okay, I'm very good at designing the concept and ideas. So then I moved to the designing part of it. Just from coordination, I moved to the designing part of it for the client. So I used to design the whole concept, the whole stage, how it looks, how it happens. So that is self-realization. That is nimge gottagbeku now what we are good at. Then only you can start choosing the industry, and it all comes as you're working. As you start working, you'll get to know like, okay, what are my qualities within me? Okay, I'm good in communication. I can talk good to the client. So then I only focus on communication and I become a communication expert in the servicing part. So, but if I'm good in designing, my communication will be only through the design part. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಡಿಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕ್ಲೈಂಟ್ ಹತ್ರ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಕ್ಲೈಂಟ್ಗೆ ತೋರಿಸಿ ಸರ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇದು ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು, ನಾನು ಇದು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನಿಮ್ ಸಲುವಾಗಿ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಹೌ. So this like talking is one part of it, your qualities, and one is the virtual what you create, the physical part of it to show to the client what your service is. So ಈಗ ನಾವು ಹೋದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ, like now we go to the market or shopping in where you see there are good salesmen who are talking to you very nicely. They convince you, okay, why don't you buy this?
Yes.
ಈಗ ಟಿವಿ ತಗೊಳಕ್ ಹೋದ್ರೆ now they'll try to propose you what kind of TV we should buy, what fits our requirement, because they have seasoned themselves in talking to customer and understanding their needs. The same way, like you have to identify what you're good at, because I cannot tell like Mega, you are good at communication, you are good at talking, you're good at presenting. No, it is you who chose that you're a good host or a moderator. That is why you chose and you talk and we communicate that way. So that also is one part of realization, like how we understand what are the qualities within us. And this will qualities for you to understand will help you with your graduation and as you're working. So simultaneously you are educating yourself as well as you're working to know what you're good at. So that will help you to understand your skills.
Thank you, sir, for
That is
sharing
what is
that.
I'm interested in.
ಸೊ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಆಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಟುವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಲೈಂಟ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸಿಂಗ್.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. And what are the 2 to 3 things that young people should not do as a client servicing professional?
Not do is, first thing is not to lose patience and not to ignore anybody who's trying to talk to you. You should always be approachable.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I'm saying this, actually there's only 2 things which is very important for us is ignorance and avoiding people. Because you're a service person, if somebody is walking in and you want to talk and suddenly you're not paying attention to them, they'll feel offended as a customer. Like to give a small example, like when you go to a restaurant, you place an order and the waiter is not, the person who's there is not looking at you to take your order. You get annoyed because he's not trying to look at you or he wants to service you. You have to literally shout at you, raise a hand, you have to call him out. You know, this simple example I'm giving is of ignorance and avoid. Maybe you are busy with your work, but still you have to pay attention to the customer and the person who is there, who wants you, who needs you. So ignorance and tolerance, these are things which is very important.
So young people should keep in mind that ignorance and patience, the 2 things they would need to follow.
Yes.
And what advice
Yes.
you would like to give young people to follow as a client servicing professionals?
My advice and suggestion would be, whatever you do in the service industry, the one principle is that you do with love. You do what you are doing, you have to love what you're doing. That will give you very good results. Irrespective, we have to only build ourselves as a service person, because we should not see whether we are getting noticed by my company, by manager or my associates or anybody. No, as long as you are delivering what you love as a service, that will fetch you very good results. Maybe not in the short term, in the long term, it will help you a lot. You'll grow a lot, you'll mature a lot with the understanding, and you'll develop a lot of good qualities when you're doing this as a service. Like you will develop good patience, you learn to listen to people, you learn to understand the behavior of a person, you learn so many things as you're working. But to do all these things is, you have to do whatever you do it with love. That is very important, without trying to look for returns. Yes, today's world, like we know, like ನಾ ಇಷ್ಟು ಕಷ್ಟ ಪಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀನಿ, ನನ್ಗೆ ದುಡ್ಡು ಸಂಬಳ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ನನ್ಗೆ ಇದು ಸಿಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ನನ್ಗೆ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಸಿಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ. There's a lot of things we can crib about. but it might be situational. But as long as you're doing it with passion and love, you will get results 100%, not immediately, but in the long run, you'll be more satisfied and happy with what you're doing. This is what my advice would be in the end would be like, please be patient and listen, understand what is the need of the other person. Take your time and give a solution to it in a such a way that he is happy and you're satisfied because you have helped somebody by giving them solution. That is what I would like to say.
Thank you, sir. It was a really remarkable advice you have given to our young people. And thank you so much for being with us and sharing all the remarkable information to us.
Thank you, Megha.
Thank you, Srini. Thank you, Srini,
Thank
for
you.
taking time off your busy schedule to be with us today. ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಮಾತು ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಹಾಗೂ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಈ ಒಂದು ವೃತ್ತಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಅಡ್ವೈಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ. Megha, thank you so much for despite having your sessions today, of making it back home to take this Q&A with our expert today. Very informative, educative interview today with a lot of insights for young people to get into client servicing. Client servicing ಅನ್ನೋದು ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನ್ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಕರಿಯರ್ ಅನ್ನು ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ವೃತ್ತಿ ಜೀವನವನ್ನು ಬೆಳೆಸಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಇವತ್ತು ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ್ ನಾಯ್ಡು ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಅಡ್ವೈಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೋ ಮಚ್ ಶ್ರೀನಿ. Thank you, Toshi, for managing.
Thank you, Shravan.
Thank you, Toshi, for managing the back end of this program on our digital platforms immaculately. Thanks to Anshika, program manager, as well. See you all next week for our next webinar on a topic which is of a lot of usefulness to each one of you to build your career, to improve and enhance your understanding of the world of work. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.